What is going on, guys? Alright, so last video you guys saw my Blackwing pistol deck, and for this YCS I decided I actually wanted to take the Blackwing pistol deck, but at the same time I wasn't 100% sure which is now the best Blackwing deck, right? Because we got the Caliuga build, which is insanely competitive, and now we got this Blackwing pistol control deck that I've already introduced to you. And my main goal, my main focus is actually Dortmund. It was not Vancouver. I did not even have big expectations of Vancouver, but obviously we did really well. We made the 49th place. We started 7-0 and surprised a lot of people. No one expected it. To be honest, even I didn't expect it. I had some matchups that were really insane where I was about to scoop, during the game I was about to scoop, but then I told myself just keep playing. And this is something, guys, that I have to tell you. Whatever happens, don't you ever scoop games. Even if it looks really ugly for you, don't ever do that. Alright, let's talk about the matchups that I had. So my first 2 rounds I played against Kashtira. So already it's starting rough. 2 times Kashtira, my biggest fear, playing against Shifter. Somehow I managed to beat them. And I think the second Kashtira matchup I even played 1-2-0 without the third game. So that was insane. And then the third matchup was against Manadium, also a strong deck, but I was ready for it, so no problem at all. Then Branded Chimera, also strong deck, but I feel like we have a good matchup against Branded Chimera, and also have a really good side deck that I want to show you that is prepared for almost every deck. Then we played 2 times against Unchained, and the first time that I played against Unchained I was going also second, but full armor master is just a force, man. I got imperm and Nibiru, but full armor master was always there to save the day. So yeah, if you have Shanga in the graveyard and Chinook on your hand and full armor master in the field, you should not lose any games, okay? And then what else do we have? Pearly. Oh my god, I'll talk about Pearly in a minute, because that was round 10. And yeah, I played 2 times against Dragon Link. The first time was against a really good player. I just forgot his name, to be honest, but it was a really insane matchup of him, so huge shout out to him. He made top 16, by the way, so a really good player. And then the second time I played against Dragon Link was against Ryan Yu, and he just had the nuts. He went first, I was able to stop him with 1 Ash on the Ravine, but then he set 2 Book of Moons and still had Nibiru on his hand, and 2 Book of Moons is already too much, because yeah, you guys know we gotta have some Blackwing ones on the field. And this also where I was, yeah, whatever. Okay, next matchup. What do we have here? Unchained was another matchup, day 2, round 9, and I started with a game loss because for my last matchup against Ryan Yu, I just put all my stuff together without siding back and just went home. And for some reason, I didn't notice it when I played day 2, and I got a game loss for that. That's just typical me. It is what it is. Yeah, we gotta work on that. And then round 10, I play against Pearly. This is one of the matchups where if I don't draw the Book of Moon or the Small World to search for Radiant, whatever, then we're just losing. Because they can just chill on the Noir and do nothing and we would just lose. Now imagine this, game 3, I'm going first, right? We want to go first, game 3, that's all we want, and we have a beautiful hand. My boy had an Ash, Magnamut, which out of a Magnamut followed a Druidstorm. Out of Magnamut, Druidstorm followed Azalea with Azalea with the Druidstorm removal. And then he also had Lava Golem and then a Fenrir. If he didn't have Magnamut, if he had Druidstorm, whatever, he wouldn't even be able to special summon the Fenrir for another ball breaker. His hand was perfect. And then he still had 2 starters to finish me off, even though I had Droll and Ash. Yeah. I shouldn't have got that game loss. If I wouldn't have gotten that game loss, maybe everything would have changed. Who knows? I don't know. But against that game 3 Pearly, there was nothing I could have done. Even if I played any other deck, I don't see any deck winning against that kind of hand that he had. So it's fine. I'll take that. But yeah, so the thing about the deck that I chose is the Kali Yuga build, and I made this really spicy version of Kali Yuga, which I believe is probably the best version to this day, because after round 5, 6, 7, it's just you cannot keep spamming Kali Yuga. Like I'm playing, by the way, I'm not playing Kali Yuga in the main deck, I'm playing in the side deck, and this is actually how you have to play it, because you can never win with the same strategic going at game 1 and game 2. Not even like if you're looking for the Unchained players, for example, they don't build the same board every game. They don't. For example, like one game you see the Griffin and the other game you don't see Griffin. Like they don't always build the same board, and yeah, you cannot just. It's not gonna work. Spamming Kali Yuga all the time is not gonna work, and especially like in game 1, if you lose a dice roll, and we draw like rank ups and Raiders Wing on our hand, this could have been a hand trap, right? And we don't need, honestly, Kali Yuga to win. It's really good for game 3 to surprise our opponent, and especially against Yasin, it was insane. Or against any other matchups where people had like Imperm and Nibiru on their hand, because I played through that, which is also really insane. And yeah, so I came up with this version, which I believe is the best version of Kali Yuga. I talk too much. Let's keep showing the deck. Let's go. Alright, obviously we are starting with 3 times Simoon. This is like circular, but we need another Blackwing monster to start with this combo. It's just really good. Okay, 3 times Simoon. And then arguably my favorite Blackwing monster right now, 3 times Zudri. Insane card, like top decking this in the grind game is the best thing that you can ask for. Zudri, insane. Next up, we have 3 times Shamal. Some people want to play that too. Honestly, I don't understand why, because this card is really, really good, especially if you play with another Black Whirlwind. Then we can just go full combo, like Shamal and Vata is full combo for us. Really, really good card. And then we have 3 times Vata. Insane good card. Insane. Like, you have to play the 3, okay? There's no what if and whenever. It's just play the 3. And then for the one-off Blackwings, we play 1 Zephyros, 1 Steam, 1 Gale, 1 Hamatan, 1 Shanga, and my personally MVP, Chinook. This card, people forget that you can also use it in the damage step, and sometimes they try to run over full armor monster, and then they always get surprised with this card in the damage step. So Chinook and Shanga, insanely good cards. I'm so glad we got them. They just make the deck twice as good as they are. So really, really good cards. And there's nothing I would change here, to be honest. Also with Gale is a really good extender, especially if you want to play after Nibiru. Really good card. Next up, we have, for the non-Blackwing cards, we have 1 Assault Synchron, 1 Magnamut, and 1 Druidstorm. And the reason why I'm playing those 3 cards is not only they are great as a small world bridge. By the way, we are playing 3 times small world in this deck. They are not only great small world bridges. For example, like if we have something like, let's say we have a Zudri on our hand. Okay, we have a Zudri on our hand, we can bridge into Assault Synchron and then search for Magnamut. Or, sorry, not Magnamut, search for Simoon. Here, we can search, for example, here for a Simoon, like this, if you're bridging with the small world. And if we have a Bestial on our hand, we can bridge the Bestial into Assault Synchron into Simoon. Okay, so we always have good small world bridges here, which is really nice. But obviously, if we have like a monster like Hamatan, who is a level 2 monster and a dark monster, we cannot bridge into the Assault Synchron. Then we would have to bridge into the Bestials and then get any other Blackwing monster besides Simoon. Simoon is the only one that you cannot search with Bestial. but you can always search into Zudri, or what I like to do, especially in this format, because some people are maining Droll, and I wish I would have done it in a couple of games to not search into Simoon, I'd rather have searched into Vata, because then I could have played through Droll. But yeah, so sometimes you rather want to search for Vata here instead of Simoon. Or even if you want to play through Nibiru, I would suggest to play to search for Zudri, because then you will not lose against Nibiru. But if you start with Simoon and they hit you in the right timing, you could potentially lose against Nibiru. So yeah, that's about that. Also, the biscuits, not only good hand traps, also good ball breakers and extenders. And also good extenders to go into a Dissipator, for example. Alright, next up, for the hand traps that I'm playing 2 draws in the main. Obviously against Unchained, it's not so good, but they can come clutch if you're playing against matchups that you don't expect. For example, I played against Manadium, it came in clutch. I played against Branded Chimera, it can also hit them really, really bad. Or Kashtira, it also hit Kashtira one time really, really bad. So yeah, and by the way, they're also really good small world bridges. For example, you have a draw in your hand, you can bridge into Assault Synchron and get Simoon. Okay, so this is also something. And then the other thing that we are playing are Ashes, and the Ashes are only, first of all, Unchained, Labyrinth, Branded, so many. Ashes, like, in my opinion, currently the best hand trap that we can play, so it's a must to play right now. And thanks to the Drolls and Small World, they are also working perfectly as a Small World bridge, because we can do like this and then search here for Vata or Shamal, or if you really want to, also Assault Synchron. So worst case scenario, we can always bridge here into something, which is really nice. Okay, and then the next really, really good card. So we got the Ashes and 2 Drolls, okay, are 3 times Book of Moon. And this is something that I'm really like, I can only recommend this to play right now in the Blackwing deck, because not only are they good for going second, but also going first. Because, for example, if you activate Vata's effect, and they try to imperm it or Veiler it, Book of Moon protects Vata to still resolve. And unfortunately, I had some judges that have no idea how to judge, and they said it's an illegal play. Like they said if Vata gets booked, that they cannot resolve, but it can resolve. But some judges said it doesn't work, but it does. I know it does. Alright, so, oh, by the way, against any matchup, almost any matchup, not every matchup, but like a lot of matchups, booking like the starters is always good, especially against Kashtira or whatever, Pearly, whatever it is, like really good cards. Or Noah in the standby phase. Yeah, Noah in the draw phase. No, standby phase. Yeah, when in the standby, exactly. When they change the trap card to go into Noir, you can just book it in the standby phase. So also really nice. Alright, and then we have 2 times Black Feather Whirlwind. Some people like to play the 3. For me personally, it's too much. And then we have 3 times Black Whirlwind. In this Caliuga build, I highly recommend to play 3 times Black Whirlwind, because we are playing a lot of Blackwing monsters that just work really well. And then, like I already talked about, the 3 Small Worlds for more consistency, and then also the 3 Prosperities, because as you can see, I'm not maining the Raiders Ring and rank up, so Prosperity comes even better, because now we can just banish 6 cards from our extra deck, which I'll show you in a minute. So Prosperity gets even better now in game 1, because we can easily banish 6 cards. Alright, now let's go with the extra deck before I show you the side deck. So we got 1 Nofung, Warrior Storm, Raikiri, Hawk Joe. Basically use these two to go into Asner Falcon. Nothing, really good card for any situation. Like sometimes you get too many hand traps and then you can just play with go into nothing, recycle Zudri from the graveyard, normal summon again, and then just keep on playing like nothing happens. So yeah. And then we have one Blackwing Dragon, one full Armor Master, and 2 times Blackwing Assault Dragon. I'm playing 2 because decks like Branded Chimera or Unchained, they cannot play through 2 Assault Dragons if they don't have like non-engine cards like Frost, or honestly even if they do have Frost, you don't activate Sharla Chinook. Just let them play. They're gonna die because of 2 Assault Dragons. So yeah, because at the same time we have Black Feather Weapons. So if they try to pop the Assault Dragon, you can just protect it with Black Feather Weapons. So we're really, really good with 2 Assault Dragons against that matchup. And then for the non-Blackwing Synchro decks, extra deck, we have Draco Berserker, Bola Savage Dragon. I like to play Draco Berserker still as a ball breaker, because if we have a Bestial on the floor, then we can special summon like Assault Synchro or Shanga from our hand and go into Draco Berserker and then just clear the board first before we start with our normal summon. And then also this Pata, or this Pater, insanely good card, like really, really good, especially like if you want to recycle stuff like Blackwing Dragon, which is banished or whatever, like really, really good card. And then obviously for the Caliuga version, also even in game 1 I like to go sometimes into Y6 and then tribute Y6 to Steam, so that we can get Ball Savage Dragon as an Omni Negate out, which is really nice. Or like sometimes if I get too many hand traps or interruptions, then I can go into Y6, somehow go into nothing and then recycle again. So Y6 is actually really, really good. But Bodish is only there for your boy Caliuga. And then obviously Caliuga with the Asner Falcon. And now, like I said, this is why I'm citing it, because with Prosperity we can just banish easily here these 6 cards. Sorry, you can keep it like this. You can easily banish these 6 cards, or like this if you want to, in game 1 without even thinking. And this is also like a really good ash bait, because if you're banishing 6 cards, they're gonna ash it, and then you can just go full combo with your cards in your hand. So that's really, really good. And then yeah, let's move on to the side deck. So for the side deck, I'm playing 1 Kaiju, because with Small World we can search for Kaijus. So if you're playing against Kashtira or against Pearly, it's always good to have the Small Worlds with Radiant. That's one thing. And then now here, check this out, for the side deck, the rank up and the Raiders Wing. And so many people are so surprised when they see this in game 3 or game 2, because I didn't do it in game 1. So they side in like board breakers and whatever, and then they get hit with the Caliuga. Really nice. By the way, if you're wondering which deck I believe is better, if it's the Caliuga build or the Blackwing Bestial deck, come to Patreon, guys. Come to Patreon. I already made my statement over there, and I'm preparing right now for the YCS in Dortmund. So, and I believe for the YCS in Dortmund, like I said, this is like my main focus. I'm gonna take the best Blackwing version, I believe. I'm gonna take the best Blackwing deck that I believe is the best version. So come to Patreon. Then the 1 draw, because I have 2 in the main deck and 1 in the X deck. I didn't have enough to fit a 3rd one. But honestly, having 3 in the main deck for some reason didn't feel so well, because there are not many decks that where draw is good, like Unchained. But yeah, alright. And then 3 times evenly match, something that I believe it should always be in the side deck, because it just hits so well against Branded Chimera, against Labyrinth, and It's not as good as I thought it would be against Unchained because they're still gonna play around it, but it definitely nerfs them, and it also takes out a little bit of their grind game, I believe. Or does it? Does a little bit, maybe a little bit, a little bit.
No, it doesn't affect the grind game.
Okay, it doesn't affect the grind game at all. But it helped me once. It actually did help me once. All right, and then we have 3 times Dark with no more. Against Cash, it was really nice, and against, I think, Manadium one time. I'm not sure if it was Manadium. No, it was not Manadium. I only played this like once. I only sided this card like once or twice, maybe not that much. But if you play against Infernoble, and you gotta always, like, Infernoble is gonna hit you off guard. You won't expect Infernoble to be that strong, to come to you like in. You understand what I'm trying to say? Infernoble, against Infernoble, this is good. Okay, thank you. And then we have Feather Duster, Lightning Storm. Almost every deck has those right now. Always good to have, and actually came up really clutch. And then I'm also still playing 3 Imperms because some decks, they just don't lose against Ball Breakers, so you need to interrupt them with hand traps. And that's just the reason why I have to play the Impermanences. So, yeah. Alright, so guys. Like I said, I honestly didn't take this voices as serious, like as at the beginning I didn't take it as serious, but obviously after you go 7-0, you take it more serious and trying to win it all. But sometimes your opponent just has nuts, okay? I'm sorry that I had a game loss because that one also was really stupid, unnecessary. But like sometimes your opponent just has nuts, like I said, the pearly opponent with all those, like the perfect hand. I don't see any deck that can play around that, to be honest. So sometimes it is what it is, okay? We still play really well, and I think now Blackwing, I'm not sure, like I wish I would have topped, but at the same time, if I would have topped, then I wouldn't be able to win the giant card that I show you, like the mini card, whatever, like not the biggest size, but because I got 3rd place, because I also misplayed there over there. I could have almost got the giant card. But yeah, like Blackwings can keep up with the meta. That's what I'm saying. Okay, people have been asking me the whole time, is it good for the meta? It is. It can actually keep up really well. Full Armor Master alone wins so many matchups. So it doesn't matter what deck you're playing with with the Blackwings. At the end of the day, the deck is really strong. Okay, it doesn't rely on Kali Yuga or anything else. So yeah, keep playing Blackwings. That's all I'm gonna have to say. And Dortmund is next, guys. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.